Imagine a moment when the unthinkable has happened. A flash on the horizon, communications collapsing, and cities going silent. In a scenario like that, the question facing a nation is not only how to respond, but how to keep its leadership alive. During the Cold War, when the US and Soviets lived under the shadow of nuclear confrontation, military planners confronted a terrifying possibility. What if DC were destroyed? What if the president and the Pentagon were wiped out in minutes? In that nightmare, survival would depend on something extraordinary, a flying command center designed to control a nuclear war from the sky. That aircraft exists today. It is the Boeing E-4B Nightwatch, famously called the Doomsday Plane. This is a billion-dollar fortress in the air, a silent sentinel ready since the darkest days of the 20th century. To understand its power, we must look at modern warfare, where a first strike could be devastating. Intercontinental missiles travel the globe in less than half an hour, while submarine weapons emerge without warning. While radar systems detect attacks, the window for response is measured in agonizing minutes. The challenge for the United States is clear. The command structure must survive even if the ground beneath it is turned to glass. This necessity for survival led to an airborne command system so resilient that it could operate during the most extreme circumstances. The aircraft chosen for this role is the E-4B Nightwatch. At first glance, it looks like a commercial airliner, derived from the Boeing 747. But inside, it is something entirely different, alien to civilian aviation. Behind its reinforced fuselage lies one of the most advanced mobile command centers ever built. It is a flying Pentagon, a hardened node capable of directing military forces across the globe. If a catastrophic attack destroyed every ground-based command center, this aircraft would instantly become the nerve center of all American military operations. From the moment it lifts off, it establishes communication with nuclear submarines, strategic bombers, and missile silos. Even if the country were under total attack, its ability to strike back remains intact. Designing such an aircraft required engineers to rethink survivability. The E-4B was built with extensive shielding to protect electronics from electromagnetic pulses, or EMPs. These are massive bursts of energy produced by nuclear detonations that disable conventional electronics across continents. The Doomsday Plane was specifically hardened to survive this hostile environment, ensuring that its communication systems continue functioning even in a nuclear storm. Step inside this aircraft, and the reality of its mission becomes even more chilling. The layout reflects a singular, grim purpose. Instead of rows of seats, the interior contains high-tech workstations, briefing rooms, and secure conference areas where high-ranking officials can deliberate in secrecy. Military officers and strategic planners operate side by side, 24 hours a day, maintaining constant contact with defense networks across the planet. Satellite links and secure channels allow the aircraft to remain connected to every branch of the U.S. military. It is, quite literally, a floating command center orbiting above the chaos. Perhaps its most remarkable feature is sheer endurance. The E-4B can remain airborne for long periods thanks to specialized aerial refueling. Tanker aircraft connect mid-flight, transferring fuel while both planes cruise at high altitude. In theory, this allows the Doomsday Plane to stay in the air for days, moving away from radioactive fallout. As long as refueling aircraft are available, the command center of the United States remains beyond the reach of destruction. During the Cold War, this was taken so seriously that at least one plane was kept ready to launch at a moment's notice, every single hour. Crews trained constantly for the possibility that they might have to take off while a national emergency unfolded below them. Nuclear deterrence depends on the certainty of retaliation. If an enemy believed a surprise attack could eliminate a nation's ability to respond, the temptation to strike first would become far more dangerous. By guaranteeing that command authority could survive the worst-case scenario, the Doomsday Plane strengthens the credibility of deterrence, keeping the peace through the threat of inevitable return fire. Throughout the decades, the aircraft has quietly been present during the most sensitive moments in history. During international crises, it has been observed flying patterns when global tensions rise, acting as a subtle signal of readiness. When the president travels abroad, a Doomsday Plane often accompanies the trip, remaining at a nearby base as a vital precaution. Most Americans rarely notice its silhouette, but its presence is a constant, invisible reminder of how seriously the government takes the continuity of its leadership. Even after the Cold War, when many assumed such systems would become relics, the Nightwatch remained in active service. Strategic planners understand that global uncertainty has never truly vanished. New nuclear powers have emerged, geopolitical tensions evolve, and the need for secure command systems remains critical. The technology aboard the E-4B is upgraded repeatedly to stay ahead of modern threats. Communication equipment is digitized and defensive systems enhanced to meet the challenges of a new age. What makes the Doomsday Plane so fascinating is the dark paradox it represents. It is designed for a scenario everyone hopes will never happen. Its purpose is tied directly to the most destructive weapons humanity created, yet its existence is intended to prevent those weapons from being used. By ensuring leadership cannot be eliminated in a single strike, the aircraft contributes to the fragile balance of power that has so far prevented a Third World War. Imagine the scene if the aircraft were ever called into its ultimate role. You would hear sirens sounding at every military base. Secure phones would be ringing inside government buildings already being evacuated. Radar screens would be lighting up with incoming signals. Within minutes, the Doomsday Plane would lift off, climbing steeply while the history of the world changed forever below it. Inside its reinforced fuselage, dedicated officers would analyze data and coordinate the nation's response across thousands of miles. In that moment, it would become the last surviving command center of a nation fighting to maintain control in absolute chaos. Despite the gravity of its mission, the plane usually lives a much quieter life. Most days, it operates as part of routine training exercises, ensuring the crews remain sharp. Its flights are frequent, yet its presence remains largely unnoticed. Only occasionally does it capture attention when observers spot its silhouette during a global event. The story of the Doomsday Plane reveals something profound. In an age when weapons can cross continents in minutes, survival depends on architectural resilience. Nations must prepare for the scenarios they hope will never occur. The aircraft circling high above the clouds tonight embodies that philosophy. Quietly, constantly ready, and shrouded in secrecy, it preserves the ability to make decisions in the most extreme crisis humanity has ever contemplated. It is a powerful reminder that stability rests on layers of preparation most will never see, acting as a silent guardian of a nation's continuity.